Wake up with the sunshine glow. Besties chat in stereo. Life is wild, let's tell the tale. Every day.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
How are we all doing today?
Hopefully you're doing as good as we are.
Woo-woo!
So I want to just a disclaimer. The reason why Danielle is so happy today and chipper is because we just did a 20-minute workout outside in the sunshine learning a dance for Instagram Reels.
I am a good sport.
You're going to say, I am a good dancer. I was like, yes, you are.
Oh, no, I'm definitely not a good dancer. I get A for efforts.
You get an A+, all around. Wait till you guys have probably already seen some. Just wait. It's going to get better the more we practice.
Guys, full disclosure though, she sent me the breakdown of the video last night and I said, "Oh, is this my homework?" And she goes, "Absolutely." So I legit practice the dance. Well, I should say the first half of the dance. And then I get here today and she's like, full disclosure, I don't even know what I'm doing. I didn't look at it. I didn't practice it. Or she looked at it, but she didn't practice it. Patty's just more of a natural dancer than I am.
You'll have to learn the dance with us. We'll have to go around and do flash mobs everywhere and see, because everybody knows this criminals dance at this point. Maybe not with it. No.
I didn't know about it until you told me about it.
You haven't watched the show?
No, I have to read the book first.
Oh, we already went over this. Oh my gosh, she's one of those. Are you one of those that has to read the book first? If I've read the book, it makes it more exciting, but I'm not going to not enjoy the show on my couch if I haven't read it yet. If that makes sense.
Good for you, and I'm happy. I'm very happy for you. Wait, really quick. Are flash mobs still a thing?
No.
No?
Not really.
When did they die out?
Listen, I'll accept a flash mob anywhere I go. I wish life was a real life musical. For sure. But yeah, where did they go?
We have some time because Patty's birthday's in July, but I'm going to be scouting some people to join my team, and I am going to try to put together a flash mob, and then we'll just show up somewhere, whether it's at your cycle studio or at your house. I don't even know why I just told you that. Hopefully your memory sucks and you forget about it.
My memory's horrible, but this is something I would never forget. So now you have to do it.
Okay. Damn it. Well, we're so excited you guys are joining us back here for episode 6.
I can't believe it.
We're rocking and rolling. And before today, we are turning the curve on almost having 1,000 downloads. So hopefully by the time you guys are listening to this, we are surpassed our 1,000 mark. So thank you for listening to us.
We're like, listen, we're not there yet, but we're going to start celebrating. Let's keep going.
Yeah, celebrate the small moments, right?
Absolutely. So we can get into our favorite segment of our podcast, High Lows.
Ooh, let's see if Patty has something new in store for us today with her highs and lows. So we were talking before, and Patty's like, "Oh, do you have your high and low?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have my high and low." And I'm like, "Do you?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do, but I just don't feel like my high is funny." And I was like, "But is your low?"
I'm like all upset that my high, that I don't think I'm going to be telling funny stories today with my high of the week. And she thinks maybe my low will save the comedic relief, which no.
Sometimes people find humor in sadness.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. And if you can't find humor in sadness, it's just sad.
It's just real sad. That's like a fun segment. How did you laugh during a tough time? How did you find a little bit of something funny in your hard time? Share it with us, that we don't think that we're the only crazy ones that do.
Oh, Lord. We are definitely going to be put into a home with padded walls if we continue down that road. You are a saint.
Do you want to go first with your high?
I feel like I want you to go first because I feel like our audience is expecting a football story on your high, and I'm definitely expecting a football story on your high. And you said you are going to surprise me. So I want to see if you're a liar or if you're truthful.
Sure. You did say that I could have 2 highs.
You 2 highs, yes, because I was just very nervous.
Because you knew. Am I predictable? I'm really not.
Some days.
I'm not.
But we're all predictable some days.
True. In flag football season, yes. What do I start with? The one that's going to surprise you or the one that you know about?
No, just get the one we know about out of the way.
So rude.
Full disclosure, I love your children.
Of course. So the one that she already knows I'm going to say, but also I'm going to throw in a little surprise with this one too, because you think I'm going to talk only about whether they won or they lost the game and all the plays that they did, which, by the way, bravo to the Bengals for flag football. You guys did so good. It was a riveting game to watch. It was like back and forth touchdowns. Oh, it was insane. I don't know any of the lingo. And at one point, my nephew in front turns around because I was just cheering and he goes, that was the other team that scored. Well, just sit by me so that I don't look like an idiot. I'm like, well, help me learn the rules of this game. Anyways, love you, Peyton. Thanks for the help. Basically, my high yes is watching my son play on the huge high school field. It was so awesome. He's 8 years old. He got to play with all of his friends and they lost. And I was so sad. I know, I was so sad, but he wasn't sad. He was so happy that he got to play with all of his buddies. Some of the kids were crying, and it's heartbreaking to watch. But, overall, they played so well. It was insane. And then my other son, who is almost 11, his team didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So this is my high that's going to surprise you. It's about football, but he got voted on by his peers, by his team.
That's amazing.
Which is so cool.
To be voted by your peers and not just a coach, and it's coming from kids that have to pick someone besides themselves is amazing.
Right? Yeah, and I think, I don't know how they worded it necessarily. I'm just so proud that he's a good role model and that kids, and that he got that recognition too, because he's a really good athlete, but of course his team has never made it to the Super Bowl, and he's been in this for 3 years, and Mikey's been in it 2 years, and he's made it both times. That's tough with siblings to watch, but they are just really super supportive of each other so far. And it's really cool to see. And so that was definitely my high, which everybody knew it was going to be.
When I was texting you on Sunday, it took you a while to respond. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Super Bowl. I forgot. But then she's like, just in case, my phone's probably going to die soon. So I figured you were filming, recording, whatever.
I had to get everything. It's so neat to see them on the high school field. And one day they're going to be playing maybe with their buddies again. It's super cute. It's super fun to watch. So I got to record all the things. I did not bring my camcorder. My other high that does not have to do with my boys is that last week was, so now maybe a week and a half ago by the time this airs, World Mental Health Day was last week. And so I was so lucky to go to my local Lululemon in Deer Park store. And we did a walk around the whole mall with our dogs, and there was some people that came, and we had dog treats, like local dog treats from Maggie's Munchies, I want to say it's called. My dog's loving them, so that was great. And it was just really neat to get out, to spread awareness, to talk about it, not only on Instagram, but in real life with people as well. Shed some light on mental health. So as if we don't do that on here enough, but it is fun to think about and dig deeper and see the meanings behind things.
If we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to take care of us?
Absolutely.
So we need it. And we need to be reminded that it's okay. So Mental Health Day, good day.
Yeah, so that was my high. How about you?
I took Saturday off from appointments and clients and decided to enjoy the day with my family and my niece and my nephews. We went to the pumpkin farm, pumpkin patch. I call it the pumpkin patch. I feel like that ages me. Because most people just say they're going to Gobert's or the pumpkin farm, right? Am I saying pumpkin patch? Because I'm like, when I say it, I just feel like I'm like part of the Charlie Brown crowd or something.
Sound like, yeah, absolutely. You sound like you're from a children's book. Like you were holding hands with the Velveteen Rabbit. Like, well, that's cute though. I like the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, pumpkin patch. We had a good time. It ended up being a beautiful day, sunny, that perfect fall day. And I got my donuts finally because I've been craving Gobert's apple cider donuts.
You haven't gone?
That was my first time going this year. And I think I've still been craving it since the donuts from last year because they come out so hot and warm and fresh. And it's perfect on that fall day. Yeah. Everything about that day was just awesome. Watching the kids, going through the very generic haunted house with them and watching them all get scared and freaked out. And was probably like my highlight of the
Aw.
day, grabbing close. And then the one kid's like, I didn't get scared. And then they try to go back in it again. And that was scary. So
it's all fun and games until your child wakes up in the middle of the night and having nightmares. And you're like, why did I think that was going to be a good idea? They're up all night.
that's the other high of being just an aunt. So I went home and slept soundly. So if any of the mothers had their child with some PTSD, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, your problem. How crowded was it at the pumpkin patch on Saturday? A beautiful fall day.
It was definitely crowded, but I think it's just people are stupid and they don't know how to move out of the way. Like everyone stops at the wrong time, like the wrong places, and just like in the middle of the path instead of like pushing their stroller and wagons off to the side.
No, why would they? Why would they go off to the side to figure out what they're doing with their life? Stop in the middle. Get in our way.
Yeah, exactly. But the one out in
Ugh.
Pingree Grove is a lot bigger than the one in South Barrington.
Yeah.
So you can move around freely. The lines for the food weren't too terrible. You had to wait in line for the trolley or the train and the slide, but it went by pretty fast. It wasn't terrible for being mid-October, perfect fall day on a Saturday.
I drive by. I live close to the other one, and it is insane when I drive by after school hours because the weather has been so beautiful here.
Yeah.
But I haven't officially gone yet to the pumpkin patch. We actually did.
So you called it the pumpkin patch.
I did, yeah. It's way cuter. Pumpkin farms. No thanks. I don't want to. That sounds like you're about to step in like
dog shit or
manure. Yeah, like I don't like that. Pumpkin patch is way cuter. Saturday, I didn't go with you guys, but I did something just as could be borderline triggering with the situation. Family photos. We took the kids. It was last minute decision to do our Christmas card photos. And it was a mini session because that's all that we can handle. But it was tough. It was really rough. I feel like maybe that's my low.
Did you at least get a good one photo?
I have no idea. Of course, I'm sure we did because photographers work their magic. It's insane, especially with children. You're like, how did you get that shot? Because I'm pretty sure my child was screaming the whole time. And you make him look like he's smiling and singing. Like, how is that happening? If you've ever done family photos, you know, as well as a crowded pumpkin patch. It's like one of those things that is just, you dread it, but you love it, but you have to do it. You can't not do it.
Yeah, you have to do the mini session to get the Christmas card to send it to majority of people who don't really care about the Christmas card. I guess if we talk about Christmas cards, that could be a whole episode, me and my thoughts on the family Christmas cards. I think I've been taken off a few lists. Save the stamps. They're going up this year.
Oh my God. I love Christmas cards. I love getting them. The only thing I don't like is if they come too late and then I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's the day before Christmas. Don't even bother sending it. So I'm telling you now, it's October.
So we should expect your Christmas card for Thanksgiving?
First week of December, I like to try to get them out.
Oh, okay.
But also, who knows?
I'll be waiting patiently.
Whatever, you put ours up. You put your friends up on your fridge.
I don't put anything on my fridge. I have a wall. I have a wall on the side of our pantry, and I do hang everybody's up.
See,
Christmas cards to me are like when you go to a funeral and you get the prayer cards, because I have a weird thing with prayer cards. I save them. I have a collection of them.
Yeah.
I can't throw it out. Somebody spent money on this photographer. Somebody spent money on this envelope and this
somebody
stamp.
was like crying and sweating during the session
Yeah.
to get the shot.
I just have to honor the work that was done.
Oh, see.
So yeah.
That's so nice of you.
Even though I'm like, God, you guys are just going to post it on Facebook and I can see it there.
Oh, I know. Well, that's why I do not post them until I know that
everyone's got it. You should put on the bottom of your Christmas card this year, please text when received, so that you know everyone's received it. You're like, all right, now I can hit post on Instagram and Facebook.
I'll schedule my post the morning of the night before Christmas. It's everyone's gift from me on social media.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. What was your low?
Obnoxious sports fans. I have not been to a sporting event, honestly. It's been 12, 13 years, I think. So I haven't had that energy, that excitement, or that care to scream for your team beyond just flag football, which, spoiler alert, flag football is children. So they're elementary aged. And we should remember that. because my heart breaks when I'm even watching NFL games on TV. I'm sad for the team that loses because they put their heart and soul into it. So now we're looking at children. So win or lose, I'm always very mindful of sportsmanship. I think that's just my number one thing, inclusion. And I'm not about the participation awards, but I want everybody to feel like if you do a good job, that's enough. If you've done your best, that's what you celebrate. Not the medal, not the win, not the trophy.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So I feel like as parents, you can sway your kids one way or the other. Oh my gosh, the fans, the stomping in the bleachers. It was a high school stadium for the Super Bowl, and they're 6, 7, and 8 years old out there. My son after the game said, Mom, that was so annoying. The stomping, it was so loud.
So it wasn't like good stomping, it was angry stomping.
No, it was like chanting for the team. So while our team didn't win, I do feel as though we just win at life because we're not super obnoxious. And I want to be like, these are children out there. And then I think too, we're hiding in the stands. Some people hide on social media and they'll say whatever they think. They get real brave in the comments. But so it's funny. So I felt that energy of you're on the bleachers and you're going to get these chants going for your team, which I love cheering on your people. Cheer loudly, whatever. But the chanting and the stomping and the bells and the siren that they had, it was just so obnoxious. I don't know, but there's such a fine line for me between raising little jerks to raising boys and girls that can win and lose and shake your hand. I was watching the other team when their flag would get ripped off. You probably see it both sides of the teams. But if a kid is handed back their flag and rips it out of the kid's hand that's handing it back to them,
like anger.
They're just so mad. And that's what I don't like to see. I want it to be a positive experience. I want these kids to know that they've done their best.
I think that's a difference between parents who are living for their children and the parents that are living through their children, trying to make up something that they struggled with growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see that. And I think too, do they not realize the effects or those like generational curses almost too? Because I hear a lot of people be like, well, my coach in high school did this. And how did that make you feel though? Was that good? So just because you were treated that way, did that benefit you? And if it didn't, then now we can change it.
But now I think we live in a society where it's easier to blame your past than to accept it and move forward.
Totally. It takes work to change. It's like you grew up with being treated a certain way, and then your habits formed to keep you safe in that environment while you're being treated to talk to while you're growing up. So then it does take work to say, okay, I'm going to stop this habit and I'm going to do it different for my kid, my niece, my nephew, just the world around me in general. I love how I'm sitting here trying to diagnose all these people in the stands. All they're doing is stomping and cheering.
I can tell by your stomp, it wasn't a happy stomp. It was an angry stomp. So now you're just terrible people. It's going to be funny to see what your highs and lows are once sports season's over. You're going to have to really dig deep.
I'd be sad, but I'm going to have a little bit of Mickey Mouse in my life and Minnie Mouse in my life. So I'm going to have lots of highs. I'm going to have lots of lows because you know how we feel about crowds.
Upcoming in the next week or two, be prepared for Disney overload.
Today, I was so excited. I got this alert of breaking news at Disney. They have a new Lightning Lane pass. It's called Premier, but you can only get it if you're staying at one of the deluxe Disney hotels. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's how they're going to get you to stay there. Sure. No, you still have to pay $129 or more per person to get this Premier Lightning Lane pass. I'm like, what is happening? Why is everything so expensive?
Because they know Disney people are crazy people and they'll pay it.
How much was Go-Birds when you went?
$25 a person.
And you got to do everything in there?
Everything. There were like 4 things that were extra, like a pony ride and something, but most of the stuff was like included.
How long were you there for?
Maybe like 3 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. So then I think to myself, I don't know about any of my other Disney lovers out there and Disney fans, but I'd rope drop to the fireworks show. So I'm like there.
I don't even know what that means. Like a mic drop?
No, it's like when they drop the ropes and they let you enter. Like they hold everybody until the time of the park opens, and then everyone is like happy waiting. And then you all get
I
to
feel like
go
I've
in.
seen commercials.
Yes.
I thought that was just for the sake of the commercial.
No, it's real life, and everyone gets emotional, and I'm like, boys, look at the castle, and it's the whole thing. It's so amazing.
But
so that's all day from 8 a.m. earlier than you want. Even sometimes you're there until 10:30 at night, until after the fireworks. So if you do that, and then you think to yourself, when I go down the street to the theme park Santa's Village, what am I paying? What are we paying at Six Flags? What are we paying at the pumpkin patch, right? When all is said and done, and the pumpkin patch by closer, not the Pingree Grove one, the South Barrington one, is a little bit pricier.
The last time I was there, everything was extra. There was very basic stuff, and then everything was extra.
I know. So everywhere is raising prices. So I compare it to that. I'm like, I'd much rather spend our money on a day at Disney versus 4 days at a theme park in the summer, and then a water park in the summer, and then a pumpkin patch, right? They're expensive too. And
yeah, I think it's
not
just
worth
what you want, your experiences and what you want to get out of it. To me, you're there for 8 hours, but how many of those 8 hours are you waiting in line? So you wait in line for 4.
You had to pay $130 extra.
I mean, I feel like $130 is a steal because what's your time worth, right?
I love that thought.
Yeah.
That's Mike. Mike said that too. He's like, all right, do I want to work overtime or do I want to stand here? Because yeah, what is your time worth?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, let's just pay it. Let's just skip all the lines.
I'm excited for you, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful trip and you stand in line for a total of less than 2 hours.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for that. Putting that out into the universe.
Got to do it. That's channeling all the power of positivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like your low wasn't that low. I mean, it was low, but
maybe I had a good week.
You
okay,
did.
the
You
low
did
of the week before was about a puffer vest I bought that I didn't want to pay for.
Oh, and if you're curious about what this puffer vest looked like, this video dance criminal she made me do, I think she was wearing the puffer vest. So go on our Instagram, check out that reel, and comment what you think.
But here's what, if you comment and say that you don't like it and I paid too much for it already, that's going to be my low next week. So please just like actually don't tell me what
how about why don't you comment and say what you would pay? What would be the max you would pay for that puffer vest? Just curiosity. Some people think Disney's overrated, but some people think it's worth it. Same thing with the puffer vest. So some people might be like, I wouldn't pay more than $10 for that. And then some people are like, oh, I would have paid $150 for that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it would just be fun to see where everyone's at with that.
I love your fun ideas. Yes.
Yeah. Some days I'm creative.
And lucky for me, it's usually on our podcast day. All right. So have we spoken on what your low was?
No, but it's weird. And I swear to God, I did not plan this. It just kind of like, I feel like it's like when you put things out in the atmosphere. Obviously, the last episode, we talked about how this episode, we are going to dive deep into relationships and friendships and how do we know which ones to keep and which ones to work at and which ones to be okay with letting go. So my low is actually, I had reached out to a friend this week and wanted just to see how things are going. They're going through some things right now. And I texted them to ask how a certain event went in their life. Mm-hmm. And to me, if a friend was reaching out to me and asking me how things are going, to me, that shows like they care. They're vested in me. They're vested in the things that I have going on in my life.
Oh, yeah, sure. Even for you to remember. I can't remember my own stuff, let alone somebody else's.
Right? So the response I got to that text message was hurtful. I was taken back. I became very, very angry because they thought by me asking them how it went was my way of saying that I don't care about them. So it just made me go down a rabbit hole and started thinking like, okay, if I didn't text and ask you how it went, would you have thought that I didn't care enough to reach out to find out how it went?
Did they want you to ask how they are versus how the event was? Is that what the disconnect was?
I'm not quite sure what the disconnect was. And again, that's, I guess, communicating via text message, not understanding people's tones maybe. So I can chalk it up to that. But regardless, I feel like that's just like if I text you and say, oh, how's Joey today? Is he feeling better? I don't want you to take it as, well, I didn't first ask you, hi, Patty, how are you? Are you doing okay? And then go in, how's Joseph feeling today? For you to say, I only care about your kids, I don't care about you. So it just was like a struggle. So then, of course, I know in my hearts of hearts, I didn't do anything wrong. But then it makes you, but it makes you think, right?
Yeah, it starts to eat away at you, and you start to think, why couldn't, I think the problem is too, like you weren't maybe heard and seen the way that you were intending to be heard and seen, as you were thinking, I'm showing up for them. I'm asking how that event went. Not only do they not get it, but it's like actually the opposite then, where they think that you weren't being there.
Yeah.
So that's tough. But you're right about the texting communication, because tones, maybe if you can't read intention, you can't read if someone's being sarcastic or kind of like, so how'd this go? You know, kind of being snarky, or, I mean, you never know what kind of mood the person is that's reading the text too.
Right. And I think that is so hard, right? Yeah. But then again, most people don't want to pick up their phone and have a conversation. You know, they want everything to be through text message. So again, there's a disconnect.
Yeah. My friend the other night called me, and at the start of the conversation, she's like, all right, so I did listen to your podcast. So I do know that you don't appreciate random phone calls. And I was like, from you, I always will answer, but it's the random moms from school. That's a hard combo to have. But I was like, thank you. Not only one, thank you for listening to my podcast, and not just playing it, but actually listening and hearing.
Oh, right.
And then acknowledging it and be like, hey, I know that you don't want to do this, but you're doing it anyways for me. And thank you. I thought that was great.
That reassurance that we know people are listening and actually hearing us, right? Obviously that was my low, but I have another friend that we go through our times where we text a lot, and then we see each other, and then we don't see each other. And so I felt like the last few times I've texted her, she's been MIA, not responding. So I'm like, okay, is this her way of saying our friendships run the course? I'm too busy for you. I have other things going on, whatever. Because I'm like, it takes 1 second to text someone back. Either, hey, I'm busy, I'll get back to you, or sorry, I'm going through some shit, I'll get back to you, whatever. So I was like, you know what, I'm done. I think this is, done. I'm done. And then a memory pops up on Facebook, a picture of us 11 years ago doing something fun together. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to screenshot it and send it to her and say, hey, look at this, how long ago this was. And you know what? I feel like that was a sign from God, because she responded and said, I am so sorry. I've been going through some stuff. I am just a shell of myself right now. And I miss you and I love you. So thanks for checking in, and thanks for sending me that picture. I really needed it.
Wow. Talk about being able to express yourself and get your point across and let the person know, hey, it's not you, especially you said this now, friend number 2. You said,
do we see a pattern? Is it me?
No, I don't think that it's you. I think that you are the type of person that checks in on your people, that does initiate the texting. And I think that's why you have maintained long-term friendships. I think a lot of people don't have that. And it's because you go through things, you lose touch, and you forget, and you don't know how to restart that friendship. You find ways to sprinkle it along like breadcrumbs. You're like, if you're getting lost, here's your way back to me. But yeah, you also complain that you have too many friends. It's your fault. You maintain the friendships. That other people are like, listen, I'm too busy. But I'm glad that this friend number 2 told you that it's nothing that you did, that she's not trying to break ties, because
I did throw that out there in the text. I was like, I was starting to think that you were just kind of, our friendship ran the course. Because I feel like that's the other thing now, just being, like you said, maintain. Maintain comes from maintenance. Like anything, a relationship involves maintenance. And again, one person is probably going to be better at maintaining the friendship than the other. And it's understanding where you're coming from in the friendship. Okay, this week I'm going to give 50% and they're going to give 50%. And the next week I know they're drowning in their shit, so they're probably only going to be able to give me 10%. So I'll give the 90%.
Absolutely.
But it just goes down to, I think if we made it more normal, like even if it's random, I maybe just more people pop into my head randomly because I'm driving a lot, listening to music a lot, where I think of people. And it takes 1 second to text someone and say, hey, how are you doing? How's your day? How's your week? Or I haven't talked to you in a while. Just want to make sure that I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good New Year's resolution for me. I do try when people...
Wait, why New Year's? Just start now.
Wow. Why New Year's? Just start now.
Or just start Monday. The diet starts Monday. Like Monday resets the week. Just start now.
Okay. I feel like this is a big one.
Okay. I'll give you, you can work through your process and figuring out how to do it. And then you can start January 1.
Yeah. You know what? No, I'm not waiting now. Now you've challenged me. Challenge accepted. Okay. But I do.
That was easy.
Did you just press the pretend easy button on your desk?
This is why I feel like we need to have a whole camera crew here, because I feel like I'm very animated sometimes, and you guys are listening and you can't see us. I don't even know if you were able to see me touch the button. I'm touching it now because we have a YouTube channel. Check it out.
I love that we're talking about friendships and which ones to let go of and this and that, and Danielle's just like, all I need is just to be able to have an easy button. And when I tell people what they should be doing, that they just automatically are like, okay, yeah, you're right, that made a lot of sense. Easy. Next one.
Oh my God, I have this. That just gave me a really good idea for a Christmas gift for some people.
What?
I'm just gonna send you guys the easy button.
You want to fix your problems? Talk to me. Hit the button and it's solved.
But maybe when you see the easy button, you'll be like, it is easy.
Aw, yeah. It's easier. It's always easier than you think it's going to be. And it's always easier said than done. But it's about just getting started and making a commitment toward bettering yourself, toward showing up for people, toward maintaining friendships. It does take 1 split second to have a thought pop in your head about somebody, and then another split second to write that text out. Just thought of this thinking of you.
Right.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, have you let go of friendship either for the right reasons or just because both of you weren't able to maintain it? Or has do you feel like anyone's done that to you? Let you go? Like, we got to get...
Right. Oh, for sure. Yes. I have lost people that I really care about, their friendship 100%. And I think it's because when you don't take the time to work on yourself, then you're constantly showing up as like the worst version of you potentially. And sometimes when you're so intertwined in friendships, and not just like the surface level kind, but say you're really intertwined in these friendships, and we talked earlier about those habits that you form because of the environment that you're in. So when you have these habits that you constantly run to, it's very hard when you are both running toward habits that don't align with each other and don't propel either of you forward, in which case I think that's the healthy thing to do then, is to take that step back, to grow apart, and hopefully one day then work on yourself separately. And then
So you both realized it was just not like a healthy friendship or relationship? Or
no, I think like anytime that you're in a friendship and you feel like you're not getting what you need, right? Like your friend number one that you spoke of in your low, if you're not able to communicate in a way that brings you back together, then it takes a little bit more work. And sometimes you can do that work while you're still having that surface level friendship, but sometimes you need to just do work on your own to come back together. So it's not like we signed our document, oh, this friendship on this date is now over and we will work and reconvene, but sometimes you do lose touch, and sometimes you don't even notice that you lose touch with people. And then a memory will pop in your head and you're like, oh man, this person used to mean so much to me. How did I let that one go? And maybe there's even nothing to it. Maybe like your friend number 2 said, she's just going through it. Shell of herself. She's busy. And that's okay. And that's where it takes friends to continue to text, continue to be there, continue to ask. Sometimes it won't land right. And sometimes it will. And you just hope that they receive it the way that you intend it.
Right. Do you feel like there's any friendships that you had that you don't have anymore that you wish you would have tried harder for?
I don't.
Or relationships with anyone?
Yeah, I feel like you can always say, what if I had done this? What if I had done this? But I think if you just show up every day and you try your hardest to be there for people. I'm one of 7 kids, so I think I'm really honed in on the world around me and am very affected by it. So I'm not the type to just go about my day. I'm not an introvert by any means where I like to be alone or secluded. So I think I do my best. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but that was my best. So I really can't be regretful of it or wish I had done something different or something more, because I did everything I could. You just try. And sometimes, like I said, it doesn't land.
Do you feel like you're good at communicating if you're not getting something from someone?
Yeah, it took work. I think when I was in high school, I would just clam up and not say what I needed, what I was feeling. I'd just be like, oh, I'm so misunderstood. Now I'm like, it's normal to be misunderstood. Nobody is going to have what you need and think and want given to them on a silver platter. You have to express that and you have to say that. And if you don't, then who's that hurting? Certainly not the other person, because they don't even know.
Right.
It only hurts you. So I get very invested in my friendships and relationships that I care about. I will communicate, I will call, I will meet, I will talk about the thing. It's never going to be too much. I'll keep trying, I guess. Yeah.
So I was thinking this morning, I was like, okay, I knew this was a topic of the day. So I was like going through like our chain of events as friends, right? All my friendships, but then specifically with you. And I was like, did we ever get into a huge fight? Did we ever get into a situation where there was possibly like the end of our friendship? And one thing popped into my mind. Is anything popping into your mind? It was based on a lot of miscommunication.
Well, of course, I'm sure.
And I think you were trying to play it off like it was okay.
Were we drunk?
No.
Oh.
And then I just showed up here and I was like, we need to talk.
Oh, that is so cute. You did do that.
Do you remember what it was about?
No.
Okay, so.
Well, I kind of do, but I don't want to say it if it's the wrong thing.
Oh, so there were 2 things.
No, I wasn't like invited or included on something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And you did show up and you're like, I'm sorry. That is insane, because instead of getting defensive, when I brought up saying, hey, yeah, that kind of wasn't ideal for me or whatever, to not get so defensive and try to explain your way out of it and just to be like, hey, like, yeah, that sucks for you. That stinks for you. And how do we then move forward? Because that wasn't what I wanted for you and I. Oh.
Yeah, and I think we're just thinking back because like we were texting and we were talking and like things were fine, but I didn't really feel like things were fine after we were texting through the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, I need to make sure she's okay and she understands the why, the story, everything that happened before, during, and after.
Yeah.
So she knows. So then I know if we're still in this together.
Oh, I totally remember that day. And I feel like you like rang the doorbell and then I was like, oh, it's probably Amazon. So there goes that Amazon package thing. But then I got an alert on my phone, a text from you being like, I'm here. And I was like, oh. And I do think instantly any bad feelings that I had felt from being like, feeling like I was left out or not thought about, instantly when I saw that text, I feel like it went away. And I was like, whoa, who in their right mind shows up for people in that way? So many people are just, like I said, defensive. They want to be like, oh, of course I didn't do this because you did this first, right? It's very hard to just show up with somebody who's hurt, especially if you're like, I'm the one that hurt him, but I didn't mean to, or I didn't think I did. And there's to just show up and be like, hey, let's work through this. I want to explain it to you and care to explain it.
I think you just nailed it by saying, I feel like just in any life situation, relationship, we are so caught up with well, you did this, so I'm going to do that. Or you didn't come to my party, so I'm not going to come to your party. You didn't respond to me, so I'm not going to respond to you. And it's just a constant vicious cycle. And so we can keep that cycle going, or someone can break the chain. And I think the people who break the chain are the people that want to have those people in their world, right? But then how do we know? Have you ever had that moment? Okay, do I give them 2 chances? Do I give them 5 chances? Do I give them 50 chances? Is it saying to myself, okay, now I just look like a bad person because I gave up. I gave up on this person. But if I'm not giving up, am I just the definition of insanity? That's the thing I struggle with. Okay, I'm going to be like, F it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop inviting that person. I'm going to stop showing up for that person. And then a couple weeks go by and I'm like, okay, I guess I feel bad. I'm going to text them and invite them and include them, even though I know they're not going to probably respond again. That's unhealthy to me, I feel. But then again, struggling with the unhealthiness of just giving up.
I think that's such a good point. What is worse? And I think ultimately trying to stay true to yourself and genuine to your needs. I hate the phrase like, oh, set your boundaries, because I think growing up with an Italian family and a big family,
there's no boundaries.
There's no boundaries,
there's
right?
No line.
So when it's like, oh, start to set your boundaries, I'm like, maybe that doesn't feel like I'm loving people when I set a boundary. But then where do you find your safety? So I think that if you are okay with leaving them out of things and it's not going to keep you up at night and you're not going to think twice of, did I do the right thing or not? Then leave them out for a minute if that's what feels right for you.
Right.
And then there's going to be times that you're going to be like, well, this is what I think I should do. And this is my boundary that I've set. And if that isn't serving you and doesn't feel right for you, it's okay, I think. And maybe this is absolutely not the point of you set your boundaries so that you're sticking to habit changing and growing and becoming a better person for yourself. But I think the life is too short. Coming off of World Mental Health Day, when have you done too much to reach out to people? The answer is never. When have you, like, there's been times, especially getting into motherhood, when I was a newer mom. I am more than a decade in. At the beginning, it was really hard. And then when I would see friends, family, whoever become moms, and you kind of, lose yourself. Comparable to maybe a new job or moving or this or that, when anytime that your life really, really changes, I think taking care of yourself and taking care of the people that you care about, it all is intertwined. And I don't think that you can take care of yourself if you're giving up or letting people go, because at the end of the day, you thought you were being ghosted by your friend. And it turns out that when you sent that one other text or another way, okay, maybe the words weren't working. Maybe I'm going to send her that photo of us that popped up in my memories. That was what she needed. Maybe it was the time of day that you sent it. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe she's finally ready to vocalize what she's going through. And she wrote you back and said, I'm sorry, I haven't been there. And then you said, I was beginning to think you were ghosting me. And you were probably, if you had a list of, hey, this is the 10th time, after this, I'm not doing it. Well, maybe that person wasn't ready to receive it the 10th time. So, I think it's a personal choice. My sister Tara, I forget what movie it was, something with Brad Pitt, but she would talk about this quote in the movie with Brad Pitt where it's like, when you love somebody, when does it get to the point when enough is enough? And honestly, I was in high school when she would tell me this quote, and we both just sat with it. If you really love somebody and care about them, it never gets to be too much. It never gets to the point where you're going to sit there and be like, I'm done. Maybe you take a break, go work on yourself, let them work on themselves. Be honest about what you need and what you're not getting, but then be willing to come back to the table.
Yeah. So I think my powerful punch from you is that some people think they're trying too hard, and some people might think that you're not trying enough. And sometimes it's just timing, and sometimes it's just the way you say things or how you say things, or when that person is ready to receive what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I think. By no means do we know what we are talking about. Okay.
Yes. Remember, we are not licensed therapists. We are fitness instructor and real estate agents. So we're just going off of real life knowledge and our experiences, talking through. This is our therapy session with each other, and we're inviting you all in on our journey. To all the people out there listening, we're talking about real life. We want to relate to everybody. We want everyone to feel that we are not sugarcoating everything, and we're actually really talking from our hearts. So we appreciate everyone listening. I know this episode might have felt a little bit more heavy than what we usually do, but I hope you guys got some laughs out of it. Next episode will be a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about pet peeves.
I love this. Only for you would pet peeves, talking about pet peeves and what annoys you is fun.
I know, I'm just nervous because we're trying to keep our episodes to about 40 minutes or less, and if you know me, I have a lot of pet peeves.
We're going to be here for days. We're also trying to not ruin our friendships and relationships from our podcast, so I'm excited how we're going to navigate talking about pet peeves without actually losing friends. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Tune in next time.
Well, as you know, we're going to keep being us, so you can keep being you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Tune in for the laughs we share, fun and stories everywhere. Besties talking loud and clear.
Thanks, guys.
Everyday life we hold dear.